everyone, this is Mr. Neil Reiter, also known as the Wax Whisperer. Thank you for joining me in my latest video. This is a patient who attended with a really blocked left ear, and they typically have to have their ears cleaned on a regular basis, but on this occasion it's been around 10 years, in part due to COVID. For a lot of people, the pandemic has prevented them from getting the treatment required, and also because the patient used to have their ears irrigated. So irrigation is the updated version of ear syringing. It's when water is essentially flushed into the ear to try to flush out and pump out the wax. The difference between syringing and irrigation is syringing historically in the UK is banned now, but it can be performed using a metal syringe. So it's a really high pressure syringe. And that's been substituted by an ear irrigation machine, which is where water can be flushed into the ear at a controllable rate. It's the same in essence. You have your go to the dentist and they irrigate your mouth with using a controllable foot pump where they can flush water into your mouth. In fact, that's where irrigation stemmed from. So it was the dental nurse who thought of the concept that this would be really good to flush out here, and that's where irrigation was born, really. Now, in the UK, things have changed a lot, not at least in part due to COVID, but at least prior to COVID. Ear care is no longer a service really offered by the NHS. Well, I should say primary care on the NHS. When I say primary care, I mean your vascular core, which is your doctor's surgery. So doctors and nurses don't really offer much ear care services, and that's been actually the case prior to COVID. COVID, I think that is the final nail in the coffin, so to speak. So it's been more difficult for the patient to have their ears cleaned now. The patient actually found me doing a YouTube search. They typed in earache and it came up, and they've been calling me since. And I think a slight issue with primary care is if they're not able to offer ear care services to at least guide patients in the right direction. And unfortunately, most people for all primary care, but a lot of them don't. They kind of don't explain what's available. A lot of patients who come for the first time, they're not even aware of that. You couldn't even go private. Now, honestly speaking, I think there should be some free of charge care provided by primary care. Growing up, I wasn't really went very well off family, and if I had a chronic earwax infection, I wouldn't have been able to afford to have it cleaned privately, and that's the truth. So it is a bit, and I'm approached myself that I have to charge for my services, but I do think there has to be some provision of ear care services brought by the NHS in the UK. Because there's a lot of people out there that are not able to afford having this done privately, and some people make it regular. This is not one of the procedure. I'll come back to that in a moment. So I just had to use an earhook there to with the wax, and it has some close-up. You can see the skin that was enveloped around it. I thought that would be everything. Looked back in the end, there's actually still a tremendous amount of wax. It's quite shocking actually in the end. How much wax I had managed to extract from this patient's ear. So yeah, it is a difficult one. It isn't to recommend that primary care services base themselves, because they don't actually, from my understanding, they don't receive the required funding to provide ear care. It's something that's always been, they've always provided unfunded, if that makes sense. So primary care services in the UK, they receive an annual budget. That budget is based on your socioeconomic population, height, and age of that population. For example, if you're a primary care centre in a young area, so to speak, then they may not need as much resources as having a primary care centre in an elderly area, because of course elderly patients are going to be more likely need the services from their doctor. So ear care site has never been budgeted, so that the funding that they receive has never included providing ear care. And it is a big resource because a lot of people suffer from earwax. So we're talking about 5 to 8% of the population in the UK, which is probably thinking that 66 million. So 10% of that is 6.6. 5% of that, half of that, which is 5%, is 3.3 million. So that's a lot of ears to be cleaned a year, and it's almost a full-time job for a nurse. And say, when primary care centres hire nurses, the nurses trained to do so many different things, but a lot of the nurses know their choice is just to provide the ear care, which then means they can't do the other work that the nurses trained to do. So it is a bit of a conundrum, and hopefully it can end it, because the doctors still have the ability to refer patients to secondary care, so to an ENT department of the hospital, but that waiting list is like a year, if not longer. And the ENT are more interested in medical, like surgery, for example, as opposed to ear care. So it is a bit of a difficult conundrum to find balance when you're struck in the UK. So we are fortunate to see a lot of patients now who are coming with really physically covered with the wax. They're not aware that they can get it done privately, and they do try DIY over the counter. Proportionate patient was able to find me, and lovely gentleman, and came with a partner today. They travel fair distance. They're also a musician, so we're joking that we see it's so many this wax is helping protecting their left ear at least. They also did report symptoms similar to eustachian tube dysfunction. I think eustachian tube was slightly blocked, the eardrum was slightly retracted, but it was within the clinical range, but we didn't advise using nasal suggestions. It's quite a, that was another big look, and I thought, well, that surely is everything, but there's still an impact in that on the eardrum now. And I just pre-warn the patient that something's going to be a lot noisier, because as we're clearing though, it's getting noisier for the patient, and we're also introducing the something closer to the patient's eardrum. So it's just going to gently ring this out. There is some residual wax just coating the nasal canal wall. We can go back in with a fine nail just to hover over it, but we didn't want to make contact with the bony part of the ear canal. It was very sensitive, and some of it did come away, but I left it there. It wasn't an issue. You'll see that eardrum, it is slightly retracted. That's